A mayoral candidate being challenged. The saga surrounding embattled South Suburban politician Tiffany Henyard continues.
Will be on the general election ballot despite an attempt to block her candidacy by an ally of current
Mayor Tiffany Henyard, once celebrated as Dalton's youngest and first female mayor, now finds herself at the center of controversy, with growing calls for her political downfall. Initially seen as a beacon of hope for the struggling community, her tenure has instead been marred by scandals, federal investigations, and mounting lawsuits. Allegations of financial mismanagement, corruption, and neglect have overshadowed her leadership, leaving residents frustrated. From taxpayer-funded luxury trips to missing key meetings during a government shutdown, her actions, or lack thereof, have only fueled public outrage. Despite the escalating pressure, Henyard appears unfazed as her once promising career rapidly unravels, with the turmoil showing no signs of slowing down.
Henyard was not at the hearing here today, neither was her attorney, and she was not made available for a...
This week, Mayor Tiffany Henyard missed 2 critical meetings in a single day, including an emergency session in Thornton Township focused on the ongoing insurance crisis. Without proper coverage, essential services such as senior transportation, food assistance, and government operations have come to a halt, leaving residents outraged. One local resident called Henyard's absence a slap in the face to those who rely on these services. Trustee Chris Gonzalez put it bluntly, "We're on a toll road of chaos right now, and unfortunately, the residents are the ones paying the toll." The situation took an unexpected twist when Henyard claimed she skipped the meetings due to credible threats against her safety. However, no evidence of these alleged threats has been provided. Senior trustee Jason House, one of Henyard's most vocal critics, dismissed the excuse, stating that the Board of Trustees had received no such information. He emphasized that despite her absence, the meeting proceeded because the village's business could not be put on hold any longer. Public frustration was evident, with residents openly questioning her leadership. One attendee bluntly asked, "If she's so scared, why hasn't she stepped down? She's clearly not doing the job she was elected to do." Public frustration with Mayor Tiffany Henyard has reached a boiling point in Dalton, as protests erupted outside a village board meeting she failed to attend. Outraged residents demanded accountability, accusing her of tarnishing the village's reputation and calling for her resignation. Some compared her leadership to a chaotic reality show, describing the local government as more of a circus than a functioning administration. The discontent isn't limited to Dalton. Residents of Thornton Township are also expressing their anger as Henyard attempts to reclaim a spot on the ballot for township supervisor after being removed in a contentious Democratic caucus vote last month.
It's about democracy and it's about hypocrisy.
I really think it's very hypocritical.
Criticism of Mayor Tiffany Henyard has intensified, with residents arguing that her repeated absences from meetings are not just a political issue, but a legal one. As mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township, Henyard is legally obligated to fulfill her duties, yet protesters accuse her of neglecting her responsibilities. Some are calling for her removal from office, citing her absences as a dereliction of duty. Frustration continues to mount, with critics claiming Henyard is deliberately avoiding meetings to evade tough questions from both trustees and the public. Her absence during the recent Thornton Township emergency session, for instance, left the board unable to address the ongoing insurance crisis, which is affecting hundreds of residents. Trustee Chris Gonzalez didn't mince words, stating, "This isn't just politics anymore. This is about people's lives. We can't keep stalling while our seniors and families suffer." The anger is palpable, and many believe Henyard's pattern of avoidance signals that she knows her time in office may be running out.
Again, no comment from Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Voters here will first head to the polls in February for the primary election, then the general mayoral election.
Supporters of Mayor Tiffany Henyard argue that she is not solely to blame for the dysfunction in Dalton and Thornton Township, insisting that long-standing political rivalries and systemic issues predate her tenure. "This isn't just about Tiffany," said one supporter outside a recent township meeting. "This is about a broken system that needs fixing. She's not perfect, but at least she's trying." However, even some of her former allies are beginning to distance themselves, citing her mounting scandals and legal troubles as a growing distraction for the community. The controversial Democratic caucus has become a flashpoint, with Henyard's supporters claiming they were locked out of the venue, while State Senator Napoleon Harris and his allies secured a slate of candidates, including Harris himself, to replace her as township supervisor. Henyard has denounced the process as illegal and manipulative, filing multiple lawsuits to challenge the results. Critics, however, accuse her of hypocrisy, pointing to her own alleged tactics of voter suppression and power consolidation in previous legal battles. Many Dalton residents are questioning the sincerity of her outrage, noting the disconnect between her claims of injustice and her own actions.
Fights in Thornton Township and in Dalton. Except in one case, Tiffany Henyard wants on a ballot, while in another, a Henyard ally was looking to keep her opponent.
Henyard has been aggressive on the legal front, filing lawsuits against caucus organizers, the Thornton Township Democratic Party, and even her own trustees in Dalton, alleging a coordinated effort to undermine her authority. However, these legal battles have sparked concerns about their financial impact, with many residents questioning whether taxpayer money is being used to fund her efforts. Calls for transparency and accountability have intensified, as frustration grows over the potential misuse of public resources for personal legal fights.
Unanimous, the objector's petition has been withdrawn.
Can't do that. Can't contest everyone that comes.
The allegations of financial mismanagement against Henyard extend beyond lawsuits. She has been under federal investigation for months, facing scrutiny over unaccounted funds and extravagant spending on trips and events. One glaring example is an $85,000 concert that drew barely any attendees. In another instance, $40,000 was spent on Amazon purchases in a single day without a clear explanation. A limited audit of Dalton's finances, conducted by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, uncovered a staggering $365 million deficit in the village's general fund, further fueling concerns over fiscal mismanagement.
Manipulation. Nobody likes being manipulated, and when you get here, you know that's exactly what's happening.
With controversy mounting, Henyard's political allies are abandoning her at a rapid pace. Even her attorney, Max Solomon, recently moved to withdraw from representing her in an eviction case over unpaid rent on a property she allegedly abandoned. The case, which has been dragging on since September, is yet another layer of the turmoil surrounding her. Court documents reveal that she and a co-owner owe more than $133,000 in rent and damages. While Solomon's motion to withdraw didn't specify his reasons, it's evident that representing Henyard has become a losing battle, like trying to keep a sinking ship afloat.
We need some action, somebody that's actually going to do their job. How about that? Somebody that's come in, work for the people, not themselves, and have pictures all.
As the primary election nears, Henyard finds herself with dwindling options and allies. Meanwhile, her main opponent, Jason House, is gaining momentum, positioning himself as the leader who can restore order and trust in Dalton. A lifelong resident of the village, House has centered his campaign on ethics reform and financial transparency. "We need someone who will put the people first, not their own interests," he stated recently. Judging by the growing support at the last board meeting, many residents appear to share his sentiment.
He's one of the most recognizable faces that's been on the news lately. Talking about the mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard.
And all of
While House focuses on moving Dalton forward, Henyard appears unwilling to let go, clinging to power as her support dwindles. Her repeated absences from meetings, failure to address the insurance crisis, and mounting legal troubles have left many questioning her ultimate goal. Is she trying to weather the storm in hopes of salvaging her career, or merely stalling before the inevitable? One thing is certain, the clock is ticking, and Henyard's time in office may be running out.
It's a little bit of both. A little bit of both.
Wow.
Let's talk about the title of this, because it's called Super Mayor, and that is what Tiffany Henyard calls her.
Public reactions to Henyard's downfall have been brutally candid. One commenter summed up the frustration, saying, "She had a golden opportunity to do something amazing for Dalton as a young Black woman, yet she threw it all away because of her ego. Disgraceful." Another pointed to a recent scandal involving alleged misconduct by Trustee Holmes during a Vegas trip, suggesting, "I think she missed those meetings because the night before, audio and FaceTime recordings of Holmes bragging about his shameful activities leaked. She's dodging the fallout." As the drama continues, residents are left to deal with the aftermath of a government in disarray. Thornton Township's insurance crisis remains unresolved, leaving vulnerable populations without critical services. Dalton's financial situation is in shambles, with no clear plan to address the massive deficit, and Henyard refusing to step down. The road to recovery looks long and uncertain, but there is hope. As one protester put it, "We've been through tough times before, and we'll get through this too. But first, we need to clean house." With the primary election just weeks away, the question remains, will Tiffany Henyard finally face the consequences of her actions, or will she manage to cling to power? Who has what it takes to lead Dalton and Thornton Township into a brighter future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding saga, because if there's one thing we've learned about Tiffany Henyard, it's that the drama is far from over.